Hello, good evening. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your questions, and I'm also here to give you a really good topic. Today, I'm going to talk about mistakes that delay your petition at the national visa stage. We call it the NVC stage. If you are applying for permanent residence from outside, so you as the immigrant, you're outside of the United States, and you have a petitioner relative who's in the United States, they're ready to process your case, and so you can move forward to get the immigrant visa, to get your green card. You're going to have to understand this. It's important to be able to understand the national visa stage, because many times mistakes at this stage leads to months and months, if not even years of delays because of the mistakes that a lot of people don't know about. Now, first of all, let me explain what the NVC stage is. So when you have a relative or even an employer who is applying for you to get your permanent residence or your visa, the petition will first be approved, and then once it's approved, it means, okay, you qualify through this family member or through the employer or through whatever means you're applying for. So now they're going to send it to the National Visa Center to process it and send it to the embassy so you can be scheduled for your interview. Now, at this stage, once it's approved, it does not mean that you're going to get your green card right away. You still have some work to do. So at the National Visa Center stage, they get in touch with you and they issue invoices. The invoices, you must pay the invoices to be able to move forward. So under the family-based process, the invoice is going to be the affidavit of support fee, and then also the immigrant application fee. So the DS-260 as well as the affidavit of support fee. Once that's paid, they open up the portal so you can upload the documents that you need to. Now, here's mistake one, that you don't submit documents that are compliant with the National Visa Center. So I see someone saying they're not hearing. Just let me know if you can hear me. If not, I'll have to go in and go out and come back in. So just let me know if you can hear me. I'm not seeing any other complaints. Hi there, Subless. It's nice to see you. So can just one person verify whether or not you can hear me, so I can know whether I have to fix the situation? Okay, good. So others are hearing me, and so it probably is your audio. Maybe if you come out and go back in. Now, so mistake number one is that you don't comply with, thanks so much for letting me know. Now, mistake number one is that you don't comply with the document guidelines of the National Visa Center. They're very strict on the types of documents that they will accept. And so if you go ahead and you submit documents that, say you submit a passport, it's best to submit that biographical page in color. So if the document is in color, you should be submitting it in color. And the document cannot be truncated. So for example, after you have scanned, and it's always best to scan, and nowadays you can even scan with your phone, scan documents with your phone. But when you scan the document, scan it in color, and then make sure that all four corners are showing and nothing is truncated. It's important to be able to submit all the documents as it's required, because guess what? Once you submit the documents for the National Visa Center to process, and this is the part of the whole process to be able to schedule your interview, they're going to take about 2 to 3 months to tell you whether they've accepted these documents. And if they reject it, that's 3 months, 2 or 3 months that have passed by that they have taken just to tell you that they've rejected a document. And then you're going to have to take additional time to correct the document and make it compliant, then submit it, and then you're going to have to wait another 2 to 3 months. So that's 4 to 6 months of delays in your case, because they are not going to schedule the interview without first finalizing your document to determine that you're documentarily qualified. Documentarily qualified means that you have supplied all the documents and you're ready for the interview. So that's mistake one, is make sure that you pay attention to the quality of the documents you're submitting, so that you don't have the unnecessary delay of it being rejected and then you have to wait months. The other is when you submit the affidavit of support, they are not going to move forward with their process without a proper affidavit of support. And the affidavit of support, sometimes there are multiple requirements. So for one, you have to make sure that the affidavit of support has all the evidence attached, which includes proof of status, proof of domicile in the US for the sponsor. And then also, if the sponsor is using a joint sponsor or a household member to make up the income requirement, that has to also be pristine. So I am on limited time. I do have another appointment, but these are two very important mistakes that I often see that lead to denials. So make sure that you pay attention to that. The National Visa Center is really going to be a crucial stage to make sure you stay on task. It's already backlogged. Many embassies, you have to be waiting over a year just to get an interview. But can you imagine the frustration when they reject documents and this leads to 6 months of delays because of the fact that you may have made some errors. So keep that in mind, and should you need legal assistance going forward, you know where to find me. I'm going to go ahead and answer questions very quickly that I saw here, and then I'm going to head out. So let's see. What happens if someone got sent home at the airport? They didn't overstay their visa. So if you got sent home at the airport, if you were in Jamaica, then it depends on why your visa was revoked. If you got as far as to the US and they turned you back, then it's very well likely that you could have inadmissibilities, such as a minimum of a 5-year bar, along with other issues. That's where it's important to schedule a consultation to understand all the consequences involved. Oh, thank you, Ampitas. Nice to see you, and thanks for following. Would it be 3 or 10-year bar sent home at the airport? If you are at the US airport sent home, it's a 5-year bar at minimum. However, if you were charged with additional inadmissibilities, it could be a 10-year bar or more, a lifetime bar. For example, if it's misrepresentation or fraud. Do you have insights on the NIW or I-140? Absolutely. I do represent clients through that process, and it depends on what insights you have. What I do, if I'm going to give you any insights at all, I would say that your goal in the United States is going to be a very important aspect of that. Not just if you have the master's or the PhD or a business, but also what your goal is and how it's going to benefit the United States. Can the person benefit from that advanced program even if they are an asylum seeker? So I'm not sure. Oh, okay, so unfortunately, it's unlikely, but that's where it's important to schedule a consultation, because remember, the information I'm giving is general information, and that's a complex topic. So you're an asylum seeker, but what was your status before? And what's the basis of pursuing the national interest waiver? Because there are many different elements to that. Oftentimes when you're seeking asylum, you have fallen out of status at some point. And because of that, it's hard. You cannot change status or file for adjustment of status as an asylum seeker. All right, so that's going to be it for me today. Thanks so much for joining me. For those of you who are in Florida right now, you're in the path of the hurricane. Stay safe. Make sure you find somewhere safe to be and stay warm. And I will be back tomorrow, all being well. I am in Florida, so I'm also doing preparations, but I don't think the hurricane is going to hit me. But I need to also make preparations. So if you don't see me tomorrow, we may be out of power or something of that nature. So if you don't see me tomorrow, you may see me the next day or as soon as power comes back. But hopefully all will be well and I can talk to you throughout whatever weather we'll be experiencing. All right, so have a good one, everyone. Have a good evening. Bye-bye. Okay, on YouTube, I do see a question. So USCIS announced September 21 new, and I don't see the rest of it. So I would have to, when you can always touch base with me again tomorrow, hopefully, all being well and the weather allows, to ask your question. So go ahead and ask that question tomorrow, okay? Have a good one.